What's on the menu today? The table is set your way. Sit down and have your say. Bon appetit.
Welcome to the Potluck Webcast with Master Chef Warren L. Booker Jr.
Let's see.
Thanks for tuning in. I am Master Chef Warren L. Booker Jr. and I thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Potluck Webcast. Today we'll have a special feature of Black History. We're going to have a Black History program at the Potluck. And I'm going to open up with a poem that I had the opportunity to visit Alex Haley's childhood home in Henning, Tennessee as a child. And we got a chance to tour a museum. And that was a lady by the name of Afi Jamima Maule, who shared a poem with us. And I'm going to share a portion of that with you as our appetizer. Old slave master, I refuse to carry your name to my grave. I was not born a slave. You made me that. Slave master, you, the most noblest of the day, brought me from a mighty, mighty, mighty long way. From a distant land where I belonged to a noble clan. A village of strength and cohesiveness. A village of peace and contentment. My country, my land that I cherished and loved, filled with diamonds and gold, all of that including me, you stole. Old slave master, the voyage was cold-blooded as we laid there in the belly of the ship with cramped bowels, shackled and terrified. So many died never to be sold. Standing on that auction block, I wondered, just how could this be? In a land they call America, home of the brave and the free. You bid it well at the auction, you see. You chose me. You call me a slave? I'm no longer free. No longer can I beat my drums. No longer can I speak. My tongue raped of my culture, you see. In this country 'tis of thee. This day I must relinquish your name. I must rid myself of all the guilt and the shame of carrying your name. An African I was born. An African I must die. No, sir, slave master, I won't carry your name to my grave. What's in a Name by Afi Jamima Maule, performed by yours truly, Warren L. Booker Jr. Well, all right then, Master Chef. I must say that was quite impressive. And that guy looks a whole lot like you. I promise you. Y'all can pass for brothers. You may want to do an Ancestry.com or DNA test or something. Because I promise you, that boy looked just like you. Alrighty, people. The feature menu item for today is repeating the past. If so, it's up to us to change it. You do not have the right to remain silent. You have to speak up. You have to lift your voice. And that helps me bring up our next act, Mr. LaRon, the Hip-Hoptimist McAdoo, with the audio-visual presentation of Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let every sound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stormy the road we tried, bitter the chest we ride, filled in the days when hope unborn had died. With a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, still now we stand at last, where the white gleam of a white star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far all the way, who is by thy might lead us into the light, keep us forever in the path we grace our feet, straight from the places I got where we met thee, lest our heart drunk with the wine of a world we forget thee. Shadows beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Thank you so much for that awesome presentation, Mr. LaRon McAdoo. That helps me bring up our next act, which will be Toby Nwigwe and PJ Morton with You Should Be Ashamed.
You should be ashamed that nothing's really changed, and it's your ignorance that won't give me a chance because of the color of my skin. You won't listen. And after all this time, you won't change your mind, and you should be ashamed. What more will it take before you realize your mistakes? You've got it all wrong, and you've been wrong all along. Now look where we are. We haven't healed one scar. And after all this time, you won't change your mind, and you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed that you don't try to change, and you keep going on singing the same old song. It's so hard to believe that you just cannot see your people getting slain, and you keep playing games, so you should be ashamed. And after all this time, you won't change your mind, and you should be ashamed.
PJ, Toby, thought-provoking. We should be ashamed. But some people walk around with their heads up knowing that they're treating people wrong. Are you your brother's keeper? That's a rhetorical question. But I'm here to tell you. Come here, come here. Come here. Yes, you are. You are your brother's or your sister's keeper. Again, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. A few years ago, there was a movie depicting the life of Harriet Tubman, also known as Moses. Very talented actress by the name of Cynthia Erivo also portrayed Harriet in this movie, and she also sang a song entitled Stand Up. So joining us at the potluck table now, who's bringing a very special gift, is Cynthia Erivo, as well as dancers who will present an artistic expression to stand up.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. Early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, we're gonna start moving towards that separating line. I'm wading through muddy waters. You know I got a made up mind, and I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I'll fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. And I know what's around the bend might be hard to face, 'cause I'm alone, and I just might fail, but Lord knows I'll try. Sisters, fill up the sky. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Do you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer?
Thank you so much, Cynthia and company. You guys are welcome at the potluck table anytime, and you can bring that dish with you time and time and time again. We'll even take leftovers. All right, people. So next, let's see what TikTok has to say. Oftentimes, people just sit for hours and hours, even though the videos are short, watching TikTok for entertainment. But also, TikTok can be very educational. I sound kind of slow when I said that. But TikTok can be very educational. So let's just see what TikTok has to say about our culture and our heritage.
I mean, you knew this was coming. Don't act like you didn't know this was coming. But anyway, things you didn't learn about Black History Month, Part 1. So before the Civil War, some psychiatrists diagnosed slaves with what they called drapetomania. What drapetomania is a mental illness in which the slave has a strong desire for freedom and a tendency to try to escape. So in order to treat it, they would either cut off one foot or both feet of the slaves in order to prevent them from escaping, because then it would rid them of this irrational desire. However, because they were cutting off the feet of the slaves, they now no longer had resale value. And because of this, it would cause the slaves to lose all of their value to the slave owners, and they were killed immediately after, every single time.
That's Black history. Y'all all know Harriet Tubman, but I bet there's something you didn't know. She was the first woman to lead a military force in the US, and here's how she did it. Harriet partnered with Colonel James Montgomery, an abolitionist at the time. And with armed troops, they went to South Carolina. And imagine, right when the signal was given, slaves came running from their plantations in refuge with Harriet. Harriet, how many slaves were freed that day? 700.
So Harriet was really that chick.
I think she'd want you to remember, Black history is your history.
There we go. That's Black history. I'd like you to meet Oscar Michaud. Oscar was a film director in the 1920s. Running a homestead in South Dakota, he wrote stories.
The butler did it.
And as motion pictures gained popularity, so did Michaud's interest. And so our boy became the first African American to write and produce films. That's so cool! With racist stereotypes being the norm in the film industry, Michaud contradicted this, providing a more African American perspective. In the end, Oscar made 40 films. And because of Oscar, we can better see our creatives of color today. Move! Okay, say it with me. Black history is your history.
That's Black history.
It's time you know about W.E.B. Du Bois. He was a Harvard sociologist. Wait, he was also the first black man to earn a doctorate at Harvard.
What's up, Doc?
Anyway, Du Bois decided to gather a meeting to discuss racial issues in Niagara Falls. However, hotels on the American side wouldn't let the black leaders in. So, y'all just think they called an Uber to go back home? Let me illustrate what happened. Did it for 180! That's right, W.E.B. Du Bois left the US and went to Canada to discuss racial issues with leaders. So, why does this matter? Du Bois and his Niagara movement served as the foundations for creating the NAACP.
That's tough.
Du Bois was the man! And he'd want you to know, Black history is your history.
That's Black history. I want to teach you all about the incomparable Cicely Tyson. Cicely Tyson was born to immigrant parents in New York. And as she got older, she got discovered by an ebony editor and had an influential career in modeling. Once Cicely started acting, she recognized the discrimination happening in Hollywood and how black people were only given roles of maids, servants, and inferior roles. So, Cicely was determined to play roles that only portrayed black women in a positive light. And because of that, she didn't receive consistent work. The world couldn't stop her. After playing the role of Miss Jane Pittman and the lead in Sounder, no one could deny her power. Hey, shh! Cicely Tyson went on to play many roles that portrayed black women in a positive light, and she carried this energy all throughout her work. Cicely Tyson's legacy set the tone for future innovators and is cemented forever. Rest in power, Miss Tyson. Black history is your
That's Black history. Let's talk about Alex Haley. He was known as an author for writing books about African American generations. But here's what's interesting. Haley traced his family roots all the way back to Africa, where his ancestors lived. Here's how it happened. Alex searched through archives and records for how long again? This mug took me a decade.
Dang. When he finally found his ancestors' land, he listened to the storyteller tell of his ancestor, Kunta Kinte, as he was taken from Africa into slavery. Alex documented his family's journey all the way through freedom in his book, Roots. To write accurately, Alex recreated the passage the slaves took to America, spending nights on the ship sleeping on a board. Take a minute and think about that. Roots was developed into a miniseries, depicting African-American history in a way that was never seen before. Alex Haley's journey taught generations of people. So remember your roots, and Black history is your history.
In honor of Black History Month, here are some fast facts about historically Black colleges and universities. According to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, 52% of HBCU students are first generation, 71% are low-income/Pell Grant awardees, and 94% of HBCU students receive some kind of financial aid. HBCUs are typically more affordable than other institutions. For example, according to Student Loan Hero, Spelman College is the most expensive HBCU with tuition that's a little bit over $28,000 as of 2019. That's still several $1,000s less than the national average of private four-year colleges, which is $32,410. The affordability of HBCUs is even more impressive when you consider the fact that HBCUs get 1/8 the average size of endowments compared to historically white colleges and universities. Against these odds, HBCUs historically have provided an affordable education to millions of students of color and have graduated the majority of America's African American teachers, doctors, engineers, and judges.
Black history. Do y'all remember Soul Train? Soul Train was a widely renowned TV program featuring Black artists and dancers. And here's how it came about. Don Cornelius was a radio host in Chicago. And so he decided to create Soul Train for his local city.
The hippest trip in America.
It became a local hit and soon gained attention of the Johnson Products Company.
Black owned, by the way.
And so, with the company's support, it was nationally syndicated 1 year after its birth. This hippest trip in America became the place to discover new music, trends, and dance moves in the Black community. That sounds real familiar. Soul Train broke the glass ceiling to make Black artists more mainstream. After 35 years, Soul Train ended, but his legacy will live on forever. So, next time you're in a Soul Train line, be sure to do the right renegade. Love, peace, and soul. And Black history is your history.
Hey, y'all, don't worry about what people say about you. They're going to try to belittle you. They're going to try to satellite your name. They're going to try to sabotage you. They're going to just try to do anything they're trying to do to destroy you.
All right. We're close to the end. I didn't want to hold you long today. But I do want to say that we have to speak up. If you see something wrong, you have to speak up against it. We have to be stronger than ever. Because as I look at our world, I see history repeating itself. And if you don't know the history, you don't know the present. And you're bound to repeat it once more. And for some reason, that reminds me of Mahalia Jackson's song that goes something like this. Soon we'll be done with the trouble of the world. Trouble of this world. Trouble of this world. Soon we'll be done with the trouble of the world. I'm going home to be with God. But no time soon. I got a lot of life to live, and so do you. So again, people, this is another episode of the Potluck. Get ready for March. We're bringing some March Madness over there. So again, I am Master Chef Warren L. Booker Jr., and I thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join me at the Potluck table. Have a great night.
I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. while the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night. That's when